Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mormon Wives, Season 2, Episode 1, Part 2. Let's see what happens.
Not true.
Dakota is a liar. So I talked to Jenna earlier this year. Hi, is this Jenna? I just have some questions about you and Dakota.
Today, I am meeting with Jenna. I'm ready to finally get the full story from both ends.
Okay, so we're meeting Jenna, the girl who claims that her and Dakota had a moment together. Very interested to know the timeline of this. I'm a little confused about how soon after this is all happening, because when we left on Season 1, Taylor was very pregnant, having the baby. You know, we were at that stage of it all. And I just don't know how long after all of that this is happening.
I have dates down to the T in my brain of what was said and what was done.
Hello, come on in. Glad you made it, okay? You can just sit over there.
They're so socially awkward. So Jenna walks in and like Taylor doesn't get up or talk to her. She just like sits on the couch and is like very withdrawn. It's very socially awkward, and I can't tell if she's triggered or if something's happening or what's happening. It just feels very socially awkward. And then Jenna has this like really big smile on her face. This is so weird.
How's it going?
Why is this is it edited this way? It's so socially awkward.
Good. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how incredibly awkward this is.
Very awkward.
It's like so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know.
I hate it.
Okay, I'm glad they called it out. But also what's weird is there's a guy sitting in the corner like watching them with the camera.
But it's not you. It's the situation. Like, I feel like I've like needed this for like so long.
Yeah. And I feel like I have such like so many trust issues and like anxiety and all the things. So like, I just want you to feel good, you know?
Yeah, well, thank you. Did you hang out August 3rd? Do you remember?
There was one time we went to the trampoline park. One time we went to the dinosaur museum. Yeah. And then one time he came over and we watched a movie.
What did you guys do that day?
What did we say?
It's saying, do you like want to come to me? You sent him your address. No, he said on my way.
Okay.
This day.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he said he never hung out with you that day.
Oh, okay. Well.
So we spent the night that night.
Excuse me, I'm gonna need this scene, like a YouTube receipts video. Like, they're not giving me the receipts the way a YouTuber would, so I feel out of the loop with what's happening. Taylor's just like reading it on her phone, but I'm not getting the text messages. I'm not seeing the receipts. So the only thing we know right now is that Dakota said he didn't hang out with her one day, but she's saying that they did hang out that day, and that's what Taylor is upset about. Okay.
Okay, what'd you do the first night you spent the night? Did you do anything with him? It says, I really hope you don't hate me. I'm sorry if we went too far last night.
We never had sex, for sure.
It's okay, you can be straight up.
So I feel like we did a little bit more than just making out. I feel like we...
Sorry, girl, you don't remember the details? Were you drunk? Was she drunk? Were they on drugs? She's saying, I feel like we just probably did maybe hand stuff.
Do you want to come over? I'm just hanging with friends. So did you go to him that night?
August 4th?
5th.
No, I didn't go that night.
But clearly, he invited you over.
So regardless if they did anything sexual, I think it's the dishonesty that Taylor's looking at. Are you able to tell the truth? Can you tell me a story without leaving the details out? I'm still very uncomfortable with the fact that Jenna doesn't exactly remember how intimate they were. That makes me concerned. Was she intoxicated? Was he intoxicated? It's a little confusing for me.
And he's saying, thank you for letting me crash at your house. And he came over that night to my house and spent the night and fucked me. So,
oh, but is Dakota asking Jenna to come over as friends? Because all of his friends were there. So he was willing to have her over in public with his other friends. That's where I'm confused.
It's so awful. This is actually so awful. He definitely lied a ton.
Yeah. So like he must have, when she said he deleted a lot, I'm assuming they mean text messages. Yep. At worst, or at best, Dakota's a liar. At worst, he's a cheater, but they're kind of both the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I found out a lot of things that were not being told the truth this entire time. He made it seem like she was the one that was always instigating and begging. No, it was him.
Damn.
He said he had just kissed her on the couch. Nope. He went on the couch. They hooked up on the couch, and then they went to the room. They hooked up. He's trying to hang out with her in the date, respecting her, apologizing because he went too far with her, which he didn't.
Ugh, that's like so religious trauma related to sex. You know, like, you go too far and then the next day you're like, I'm sorry, we'll never do it again, I'm sorry. And then you do it again, and then it's kind of like leading somebody into temptation more or against their values.
Where the fuck is my apology for hurting me that day? I was the night girl that you came over to at night. I feel like a piece of fucking trash.
Oh, that's so sad.
So you posted a TikTok with him in your bathroom, and I just had like this feeling in my chest, like, don't trust him, kind of. And I said, are you dating Taylor? And he told me no, it was just for clout. And like, she's just helping me build like my social media.
Oh, that's such a ruthless, Disgusting thing to say. Actually, that happened with the wizard Liz. Remember the wizard Liz? Her guy cheated on the Snapchat and he told the girl, no, I'm not really in a relationship. We're just doing it for like views. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I just feel horrible for Taylor. Like it's hard because I don't even know how to comfort her. I just feel for her. Like I feel the pain that she's feeling, and like I've never seen her like this.
Her parents were right to not like him. Her parents never liked him.
Really hoping to be able to reconnect with Whitney. I've known Whitney for a few years now.
Okay, so now we've moved from Taylor to Miranda and Whitney reconnecting, I guess, for Mom Talk.
Taylor had no plans of doing it by herself. So I came, I first invited Whitney, and then it just kind of snowballed.
Oh, so Miranda is the reason Whitney got involved in the first place?
Genuinely, I just feel like I can relate with her because she obviously needed that time and is now having the courage or strength or whatever to come back. And also,
can we please have a new villain? That person cannot be me.
Oh my God, being like, I love having Miranda in the group. I'm so sick of being the villain. Oh, Whitney.
Even though she felt the need to do it, like come out and do it online.
Yeah.
I'm also like, I would rather not solve it all online because there has been so much online.
That's like like have
worst
we
way to
not
do it.
learned our lesson
Yes.
yet?
I think about this in relation to YouTubers. I don't know. I don't think so. I think we all are so, like, people just distrust each other so much that they feel like if they do it online, at least there's witnesses. And obviously everybody makes money and their channels grow from it. But yeah, like, no, we're infamously bad at problem solving. But can I just say this? Like, I don't know why we thought YouTubers would be better at solving personal drama when we know our parents aren't. As you get older and you learn the lore between your parents and your aunties and uncles, you just learn like, oh, all of our parents suck at communication. I don't know why we thought we would be better at it when we're not breaking generational curses or, you know what I mean, trauma cycles. So it's just interesting, like reality TV, or if it's YouTube, or if it's our own family stuff, it's all the same. We're just infamously bad. And sometimes we think, oh, it will get solved if it's in public, or if there's somebody to mediate, or if the family's involved. But the truth is, like, it can't be solved unless the people involved are incredibly good faith, they're on the path or have healed, and they actually do want to solve it.
So Miranda DM'd us on Instagram out of the blue, all of the Mom Talk girlies, and she wants to have us over for a happy hour.
So the girls are at a Halloween event and they're talking about the fact that Miranda is hosting this party, which is, I think, like from Miranda's perspective, probably like a good thing. But again, from the drama perspective, who knows? But also she'll get more camera time. It's hard to know with social media, like, are we doing this because we're working, or are we doing this because we're actually trying to build something? And I do personally always say that if you really want to problem solve, you problem solve behind closed doors. And you've seen me as a content creator try to do this with other content creators. You've seen me when things have blown up say, talk to me offline and then we'll come online together, but they don't want to. A part of it thinks, like, I think they think that I'm trying to trick them to go into private mode, which is why people record each other. But more than that, I think they do subconsciously want the views. I think subconsciously content creators know they will make more money and it will be more interesting for the viewer if the fights or the arguments or even the fixing stuff happens in public. Which is why the audiences start to think like, oh my God, you guys are so close. You guys are so close. But we're not close. We're just having those intimate conversations online. But the intimacy doesn't actually bring us closer, right? It just makes the audience think that they are in on it. Same with this show. As the audience, we feel like, oh my God, we're in on these people's lives, but we're not really. But at the same time, they are real and it is happening. It's like what I always say, like WWE, wrestling is fake, but the injuries are real. Social media is somewhat fake, but it's real people. So real people's lives are being impacted. And a lot of it is very real. It's just not real. And I don't mean to be so autistic about this, but maybe I am. It's not real the way you are real when you know there's nobody watching you. There's nothing more honest and real and vulnerable than when the cameras are off and you're just sitting in your own home, feeling safe, expressing yourself in a safe space. Like, there's nothing more real than a safe space. And I refuse to believe that there is a man in a room with a camera and that could be a safe space. I refuse to believe it.
I don't understand why she's trying so hard to reach out now when she had 3 years to do it and never cared to. Just kidding, I know why. Because she wants that bag, baby.
Ooh, she said Miranda reached out after 3 years because she needs that bag. I mean, there's that joke with content creators that, oops, they're starting drama again after all these years. They must need the money.
But we can't let people in who just want clout.
Anyone that comes in at this point is clout chasing.
Which is interesting because she is an OG mom, but I guess her coming back in does feel like clout chasing. Even to me, I was like, is this a clout chase move? But, you know, honestly, it's not a bad gig. they definitely are making money.
I don't really want to. Mickey was like, am I forced to go?
I met up with Jenna. Yeah. It's just all the lying that really hurts. I feel like I fell in love with like someone that like doesn't exist. He's not the guy that I thought.
Interesting. She feels like Dakota is almost like someone she fell in love with that she doesn't exist, right? Like Dakota is like this. But I actually think Dakota is exactly who we all thought he was. Isn't that amazing? Like rose-colored glasses, how you can convince yourself that someone is different than everyone sees him as. But I think everyone thought Dakota from day one was icky. So it is kind of interesting that she's just like, I don't even know who he is anymore. He's exactly who he's been all along.
Now it's like, where do we go from here?
I feel like I just can't like even try. Like, I feel like the only thing I've ever asked of Dakota is to be honest.
Yeah.
That is the only thing.
If he was to walk away, like, could you handle it?
I choose walking away then. These things I just found out. It's going to be awful. Yeah. I agree. I don't want that, but I am not going to settle. I had a stepdad growing up, but I've always called him dad because he adopted me at 2 and he's been the father throughout my life. So he's my dad. But I think my trust issues stem from my biological father. He sees me, he's like, what's up, kid? I had never heard from my dad after that day.
So Taylor's got that generational trauma. Who knows what was happening beforehand, but her mother is divorced and Taylor's divorced. And we don't really ever get to see Taylor's OG husband. Yeah, we never get to see Taylor's original husband or even a lot of her kids, I guess because we're following the Dakota storyline. But I wonder how much of that is because her ex is a lot more private and it just makes more sense. But like this baby's here. We obviously on her TikTok, I know she features her other kids, but I don't know much about her ex at all. I'm sure the fans probably know more than I do. But it's interesting just like how dysfunctional everything is. And I'm not saying that, well, look, I think all human beings are dysfunctional on a spectrum, for sure. Like all of us are born into dysfunction. Nobody gets to be born into a perfect family without problems. So I would just like to say that it was interesting how sort of snobby and stuck up her mom was in season 1 and judgmental of Taylor when she herself obviously is probably just worried that Taylor's going to follow in her footsteps, which is probably why they were concerned about Dakota in the first place. But, you know, it came off very judgmental instead of understanding, which so many parents do. So many parents like come off judgmental of their children instead of actually saying, hey, I'm just concerned and I want you to make a good decision, but I just feel like this isn't your person. It was, you know, it makes the kid almost like double down and go in the way that you don't want them to go in a sense.
I feel used and played and like trash. Like, why am I still on this couch crying like a year later? It's so annoying.
I saw a TikTok that said, hey, if you're crying in your relationship because of your relationship, like even once a week, like get out. And I agree with that. If you're crying about your relationship, even every 6 months, like what are we doing? I've been married 2 years. In this August, and I've never cried over this relationship because of this relationship. Taylor's been with Dakota a year and a half, and they have literally only been crying and fighting.
And I didn't even see it coming. It just sucks.
It is hard for me to believe that Taylor is this ignorant and naive, but man, when you're in love. But I tell you, hindsight is 20/20. In a year or 2 years or 3 years, she will say, oh, it was so obvious. She will say, oh my gosh, of course it was obvious. Like the fact that she feels like she didn't even see it coming, Habibi, give it a few years.
I really wish she would have thought of things before you got pregnant from him. Just like we said, you know, like take your time because it hurts everybody, like not just you.
Yeah, the mom is coming out. Like maybe this isn't the time, like though that's correct. Though it is correct in a sense, like you should be preventative. You should be thoughtful. You should be responsible. You should have thought about it. Maybe now is not the time to bring it up. It feels very much like the mom is emotionally stunted. Like, girl, we get it. We know. Now is the time to get Taylor validated and in therapy, like good therapy, and philosophical work needs to be done. She needs to decide philosophically, what does she believe about the universe, life, her place in it? Because right now she is making irresponsible decisions, but the mom feels very irresponsible to me as well. The mom also feels like, yeah, you're the reason Taylor is the way she is in so many ways. You know, not that Taylor isn't an adult and can't make her own decisions, but Taylor is a product of the environment her mother raised her in.
If anything that the LDS church has, like that foundation of a family is something that I strongly believe in. Your generation, I think, is just like, okay, it's not working. See you later.
I'm sorry, girl. Didn't you have a first husband and now you have a second husband? What are we talking about? You have a second husband. And also you raised Taylor and you have this attitude right now. I do not like this mother. I didn't like her season 1. I don't like her now.
And it's not like that. It's like,
but it hasn't been working for 2 years.
I know, but still, Taylor, you need to try.
Ah! Taylor! Boundaries with your mother. Kick your mother out of your life temporarily. No, I hope Taylor sticks up for herself. Her mother is crazy. Absolutely not. Red flag.
I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss right now. I do love Dakota, but at the same time, I won't ever be able to trust you. And so now it's like, what do we have?
Become healthy co-parents, and that's it. Stop dating, stop making babies, be your own self, raise your kids until they're adults. And in the meantime, if you run into your high compatibility partner, great. But you, like, if you don't, also great. Like, being in love is not the focus. Having a good life is.
Because the only way we're ever going to work out is if you let me breathe for a minute.
No. She just said if we're ever going to work out. What? Girl, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to work out. It already hasn't worked out for 2 years.
Zach and I will definitely have a lot to work on. And ketamine therapy is supposed to reset.
I'm so upset. These people are so dysfunctional. Ketamine therapy? Girl, this is not the time to do drugs. I mean, I love drugs, but this is not the time to do drugs. Your relationship is toxic and abusive. Maybe do drugs separately. Maybe go on an independent journey, but like, this is not the answer. This is so rich people time. Like, rich people got too much time on their hands. What?
Yeah, the church doesn't promote ketamine.
Are you gonna call Elon Musk? It does. Oh, listen, I've done enough drugs in my life, but therapy is therapy. You need to focus. There are therapies that integrate drugs into the therapy, like psilocybin, and that's fine. But this just feels so silly to me. Like, please get it together.
Zach trying ketamine is a pure example of how much he's willing to do to show up for a relationship.
Oh, I just know this season's gonna piss me off. I'm already mad. The dysfunctionality is insane. But see, this is why I'm telling you, the trajectory of like, or the overlap of fame and dysfunction is just so there. I really do think we make the most dysfunctional people famous because it is interesting for us to watch. Maybe that's part of our dysfunction. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll tell you this. If I watched this show on my own and I wasn't watching it for work, I probably would be like pretty frustrated, but then entertained because I'm watching it for work and I'm trying to be philosophical and thoughtful. And, you know, I'm trying to do all this like emotional labor. I'm actually getting annoyed that I'm doing emotional labor for people that aren't willing to do it for themselves. But also everybody's toxic. Like, you know, mid-20s, I get it. I'm trying to be there. You know, I'm trying to examine how toxic I was in my mid-20s. I get it. But man, at 36, I'm a little tired. This is so interesting. Wow.
Were we out for a long time?
I can't remember.
I'm going to come over and give you a hug.
Drugs evoke emotion. They evoke a lot of things, but it's like chemistry. Just because you're feeling a lot doesn't mean you're deconstructing. It doesn't mean you're introspecting. Just being high isn't enough. You actually have to do the work. And that's why I kind of like hate when I was in like a lot of like hippie bubbles or drug bubbles. All of them think they're so ascended and so enlightened, but they're all very dysfunctional and hit their kids and cheat on their women. And I'm like, I just don't get why you guys think that you're any better because you've done drugs when you're still toxic and dysfunctional. We're trying to get down to your character. We're trying to actually make you a better person. So maybe, you know, tools will work for you that are unorthodox, but this is not going to help their marriage.
Just had some memories of when we first started dating. It truly felt like you were like my missing piece.
That's the problem. Drugs will also make you say stuff you don't believe. Alcohol, I think, doesn't expose who you are. I think it literally inhibits you. I don't think drugs expose who you are. I think it just inhibits you. Like, I don't buy into this narrative that drinking exposes who you truly are. Like, no. I disagree. Sober, grounded you is the real you. Intoxicated you is you being impacted by drugs. You will consent to things you don't even want to consent to. You will violate your own dignity. You might even overspend or hurt somebody, things you would never do sober. That's why it is not safe to drink and drive. It's why we don't want people consenting when they're already drunk or high, because you will do things you don't want to do. I don't like this narrative that like, oh, I've done drugs and I'm remembering our first date together and now I'm having all these feelings and now I'm going to say things I don't really mean.
I was like, I would literally give anything in the world to relive that day.
Your deepest thought is I want to relive that day we were in Hawaii together. Super deep, bro. Not your kids, not your family, not your wedding day. I just want to be happy again. Well, this is definitely not going to help, girly. If anything, it might just help her see that this is a mess.
Jen and I do love each other and we are a team. And it's easy when you get back to the root of why you love each other, kind of realize just how special she is to me.
Boo, boo. Do you see what I mean? Boo. This isn't real. This is the drugs. Boo. This isn't enough to build a marriage on, to be with each other through Alzheimer's. Boo.
Pray out to God to help me find my person.
Well, God was out of work that day, girl, because you did not find your person. And again, I know these are real people, and who am I to say if this is their real person? I'm a girl reviewing their publicly posted TV show. Okay, this is the reality of your reality TV show. I'm gonna dissect it. I could be wrong, and you could be up in my comments about it, but this is my opinion. My opinion.
I want to fight for you. And I will always fight for you.
I just want to say something really wise right now, something really philosophical, but the only thing I'm thinking is boo, boo, absolutely not, boo.
I don't know. I just didn't want more problems. So I actually decided to tell Taylor, like, yeah, we just made out. I fell asleep with her on the couch. The thing that I left out that was like a big one was just that we were in a room, because I knew that one would hurt her.
If you need to lie to your partner to save their feelings, you're a bad partner and you're in a bad relationship. This is why I practice radical honesty in my marriage. Even if it will hurt my feelings, you need to tell me. We try to tell each other in the kindest, most dignified way, of course. We try to tell each other the truth with, dignity, but we will always tell the truth, because ultimately this sucks. We don't want this situation to happen. We don't want to be in a marriage where 6 months later it's like, oh, hey, I lied to you about this thing. Because I've been in those relationships in my 20s, and it was always over the stupidest things people would lie about. Like, hey, did you check the mail today? I really needed a package for work. Oh yeah, I did check the mail, but I realized they didn't check the mail because, I saw the slip in the mailbox, or that really happened, or something like that, where why'd you even choose to lie about this? Why didn't you just tell me oh, I didn't check the mail, I'm so sorry? Because either way, it would have been bad. I asked you to check this. I needed it for work. You said you would do it when you were home all day, but you got lost in video games. That makes you a bad partner. You lied to me to make yourself look like a good partner who tried to help me, also bad. It was like you did a bad regardless. Doing an extra bad is just going to make the first thing even worse, but they don't get it. And it's just what are you doing? And he's 31. He's 31 years old, Dakota.
Deleted some messages.
And he deleted some messages because he wanted to hide it from Taylor. You either show your partner everything, or you're probably not in a safe or good partnership. Now, I don't mean to say, oh, I'm going to prove I love this person, I'm going to show them everything. Make sure this person is somebody you trust enough to show them everything. Don't do the showing everything as a way to prove to yourself you trust them. Trust them so you can show them everything.
If she was to read those, I thought that would essentially make me lose her. I did lie.
Oh, I did lie. That's all I needed to hear. Thank you. We're done.
I just wish I was honest to her.
It is too late. Find a new apartment, get a new job. And I'm not a therapist or his mother, so I don't have to meet him where he's at. He can go do the work. But we don't have time. There are plenty of people doing the work who need help and need assistance. Those are the people we meet in the middle. We can't meet Dakota in the middle. He hasn't figured out how not to lie. And he's 31.
I'm surprised to see Whitney here. I'm just gonna have to play the game of just stay away from Whitney.
So at this point, Miranda decided to do an event with the girls. We're almost ending this episode, so I'm assuming the main part of this event will probably show up next episode, but she's trying to bring mom talk together to try to make a place for herself, basically.
I do feel this sense of protectiveness around mom talk. I don't want one more problem.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think they need Miranda or Whitney to make mom talk a thing. They might need them to make this show a thing because they're the drama, but I'm not sure they need them to make mom talk successful. I wonder why Miranda and Whitney won't create their own mom talk. If other Mormon girls are doing it, in the beginning of the show, they showed us other Mormon girls doing it, then why don't they do that?
We have a lot of other things in common. We've got 2 kids. We're very level-headed people.
We're very level-headed people. Whitney.
The vibes are just off. And I think it's because Michaela, Layla, and Macy are against Miranda joining Mom Talk because they're Team Taylor. But to be honest, I actually don't mind Miranda. And
Jen has always seemed like she's very inclusive and nice, even though she didn't invite all the girlies to her baptism. I forget what it's called when her and Zach christened the baby. I think is that what they call it in Mormonism? She didn't invite all the girls, and it was controversial because the girls weren't as into the religion at the time. But I think overall, I've always liked Jen in general. I feel like she seems like a nice person, but also all of them are so dysfunctional that it's what are you going to do? Or variations of dysfunctional.
She's a single mother. So as a woman, I don't see why we can't support her.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what Miranda's how she's going to fit into the group, but I do appreciate the narrative that like she's a single mom. She used to be an OG mom talk. Let's get her back in. But at the same time, like, I don't know why they all need to be together if there's actual dysfunctional between like Taylor and Miranda or Taylor and Whitney or any of them. But then I'm assuming this all goes back to the contracts. So see, it is contracted, it is produced, but yet it is somebody's real life. And yet they all have to sort of put up with each other. I seriously, when adults say, oh, I wish we were in high school again, I think what they are trying to say in many ways is I wish I was forced back into a situation where I'd have to socialize with people that would never need to talk to me in real life. And I feel this way about this show, where it's like, it's almost like they're forced back into high school by production. But in real life, like, why would they ever need to talk again for YouTube or for TikTok? Or maybe it's just different because I am a YouTuber. Like, burn a bridge, move on. You have a career by yourself. You don't need these people. Or if you do need somebody, make sure you have enough people that are like consistent. But as a YouTuber, I just like would never put myself in this position. But then there are YouTubers who do it with like the YouTube houses. They put themselves in a position to be in close quarters with people that they know they're going to fight with, but it makes good content for dysfunctional content. But you know what I'm saying? It just feels funny to me. I guess because I do YouTube full time. And I know for a fact, I don't need other people to have a career. So my brain is like, just go solo, unless they think they can't handle it solo.
Also, with like Vegas, I don't know if I can trust anyone. Yeah. Just because like no one was there.
No.
I mean,
I didn't know Jen felt bad about the group. I didn't know Jen felt betrayed during Vegas, during the whole situation with her and Zach. I didn't know that. I thought she felt supported.
I literally reached out to everyone in the group message. You weren't in the group message, so you didn't see this. I basically said like, hey, you guys, like I'm struggling right now. Zach and I are struggling. I would appreciate it if you didn't feed into any of the negativity online right now. Just while we're figuring stuff out. No one responded.
Oh, interesting. Well, it goes back to that conversation I'm always having. Are you coworkers or are you friends?
I also like if you're the one inserting yourself into our group now, like I feel like we almost have to like say how we feel.
I feel like that's true. I feel like if Miranda wants to be part of the group, I think the group has the right to sort of interrogate her because they don't have to have her there.
Well, I guess my first question is, what was the intention between inviting all of us over here?
I really want to put everything behind us and move forward.
Everything feels kind of fake to me about it. Even the conversation we had just the other day at the event, it was like, oh, we only kissed. And I was like, well, that's not what we had at all either. It's frustrating when someone's lying through their teeth and because you're threatening my relationship with all of my girls and mom talk.
And of course, they leave us on a cliffhanger. So there's the end of that. Okay, so let's see. I guess at the end there, what I've learned is the girls are still dysfunctional, but to be fair, it's not that far off from season 1. I hope that they are able to be healthier by the end of this season. And I know a lot of you have a lot to say, so leave those comments in the sections down below. Like and share this with somebody else watching the series. Please try to keep spoilers to a minimum, or at least maybe put a cap letters like, hey, spoiler below. Because I do read your comments and I'd prefer not to have a spoiler as I watch because I'd like it to be like an authentic reaction. But with that said, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys for the next one. Bye.